Namaskar. INASL takes immense pleasure in extending all of you a very, very warm welcome to the inauguration ceremony of the 26th Annual Scientific Meeting 2018. At the outset, ladies and gentlemen, allow me the privilege of inviting our dignitaries to be seated at the dais. Before that, I request INASL President, Mr. Anil Arora, likewise the Secretary General, Mr. Radha K. Dhiman, and the Organizing Secretary, Mr. Sunil Taneja, to kindly escort our chief guest and guest of honor to the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome onto the dais our chief guest, Honorable Professor Balram Bhargava, Secretary, Health Research and DG ICMR, New Delhi, and our guest of honor, Mr. Vikas Sheel, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India. Before we even begin, ladies and gentlemen, let us all pay homage to the epitome of knowledge, wisdom, and learning, Ma Saraswati. And now, with the blessings of Ma Saraswati, we proceed with the rest of the formalities. First and foremost, I have the pleasure of inviting to the podium for the welcome remarks, as well as to read out the Secretary's report, Dr. Radha K. Dhiman, the Secretary General in INASL.
Thank you. Dignitaries on the dais, friends, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the INASL, I am honored to welcome our chief guest, Dr. Balram Bhargava, Secretary Research, Ministry of Health and Welfare, and Director General, ICMR. Dr. Bhargava is one of us. He did his MBBS from King George's Medical College, Lucknow in 1984, MD in Medicine from the Department of the Medicine, King George's Medical College Lucknow in 1988, DM in cardiology from the Department of the Cardiology from King George's Medical College in 1990. Presently, Dr. Bhargav is Professor of Cardiology, All India Institute of Medical Sciences, New Delhi, and also serves as the Executive Director for Stanford, India Biodesign Center, School of International Biodesign. Professor Bhargav is an outstanding cardiologist, one of the foremost leaders in the biomedical innovation, public health, medical education, and medical research. He has been awarded the Shri High Civilian Award by the Honorable President of the India, and he is also the UNESCO Equatorial Guinea International Prize for the Research in the Life Sciences at Paris. We are also honored to have Mr. Vikas Sheel, Joint Secretary, Ministry of the Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, with us. He is instrumental in making the National Viral Hepatitis Program with provision of free diagnosis and treatment for viral hepatitis through the National Health Mission. The Health Minister Shri J.P. Nadda ji on the World Hepatitis Day, that is 28th July 2018, has launched the viral hepatitis program. Sir, I thank you on behalf of the INAZL for sparing time and being with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, this scientific meeting is being attended by approximately 180 faculty, all well-known stalwarts in the field of the hepatology, and including several from the abroad. And we have from the US, Patrick Kamath, Arun Sanyal, Ashwani Singhal, Paul Thuluvat, Sanjay Satpathy. From UK, Anil Dhawan, Anita Verma, Geoff Dushiko, Guru Prasad Aithal, Harry Dalton, Alistair Baker, and from Spain, Raul Andrade, Hong Kong, Vincent Wong, from Bangladesh, Mamun Al Mahtab, and from Nepal, Sitaram Chaudhary, Dilip Sharma, Anantha Shrestha, Shashi Sharma, and Sudhanshu. I thank all of them sparing time and being with us. I also welcome Indian members of the faculty who have taken out precious time from their busy schedules and have come from different parts of the country. No conference is successful without delegates. So far, we have more than 1,200 delegates and they have registered with us. I extend a warm welcome to all of them. In this year's meeting, we also have the best of the easel for the third consecutive year to cover some burning issues in the hepatology. I also extend a very warm welcome to the easel team. Furthermore, this year emphasis has been given to that is the INAZL symposium that was conducted yesterday, half-day symposium, and the theme was the NAFLD, East versus the West. And today we had a very, very successful postgraduate course, and the theme was the year in review, case-based discussion. And thankful to Professor Kamath and the Ashwani Singhal. Pediatric hepatology course is also conducted this time as last year, and we thank Dr. Anil Dhawan, Surendra Yacha, and Malathi Satya Shikran. Liver transplantation postgraduate course was guided by Mohammad Rela, Avninder Soin, and the Sanjeev Sekal, and we are thankful to them. The aim of this meeting is to explore various important aspects of the liver diseases, that is the pathogenesis, diagnosis, and the treatment, with the goal being to better understand, diagnose, and prevent and treat these diseases. But academics are not only the function of the INAZL meetings. There is also a place to build friendship and have a fun in the evening today also. At the end, I assure all the attendees, whether trainees, clinicians, or basic scientists, that they would find the latest information in their areas of their interest. And thank you so far. Now I'm going to present the Secretary General's report for the last year, that is 2017 to 2018. As far as the INAZAL is concerned, the mission statement is basically the dissemination of the knowledge related to the hepatobiliary diseases to the healthcare providers, basic scientists, and the lay public. Also to promote promotion of the research in hepatobiliary diseases in relation to the pathophysiology, treatment, and the prevention, and the development of the training programs in the field of the hepatology. INAZAL organizes one annual meeting, and this is the annual meeting, and one national meeting in the month of the December in association of the Indian Society of the Gastroenterology and the Endoscopic Society. It also organizes 2 to 6 single theme meetings also on a particular topic. In addition to, there are the posts of the President-elect, President, Secretary General, and INAZAL also have the 4 governing council members. And in addition, for the last 3 years, we have the INAZAL regional coordinators as well as the international coordinators. So in India, we have the 14 regions we have divided, and we have INAZAL regional coordinators, and that act two-way conduit between the INAZAL leadership and the membership at large. IRCs, they help the INAZAL leadership make certain that it is meeting the evolving needs of the membership. They acted as the grassroots force on an important issue faced by the gastroenterologists, hepatologists, and physicians at the regional level, and that come in their domain also. So these are the names of the INAZAL regional coordinators. And we have the international coordinators from the Bangladesh, Nepal, Southeast Asia, Japan, UK, Europe, and from the USA and the Canada. And in the last year, they helped us very much as far as the organization of this meeting. So far, we have 872 active members, and we have all data about them, and we have the 76 international. And this year, we have added 62 national and 22 national members also. And we have the activities with other organization, international organization. I have already said to you that is the best of the EASL, and we have the EASL stands for the European Association for the Study of the Liver. And we have the team from the EASL, and this is the 3rd consecutive year. Last year, we organized ASLD INAZAL Symposium on Alcoholic Liver Disease, and this year also with a puzzle, one full day INAZAL activity. In addition, INAZAL supported or endorsed several regional conferences or single theme meetings they held in Cochin, Hyderabad, Patna, Delhi, Kolkata, and Chennai, and several more. In addition, the INAZAL is particularly involved in specific fields to provide the guidance to its members as well as the physicians or clinicians from the gastroenterology, hepatology, and other related field. One of them is the INAZAL Cell for the Prevention and the Control of the Hepatitis C virus infection in India, and it has come out at least 2 consensus statements. And ICARE stands for the INAZAL Consortium for the ACLF Research in the East. We have several other ACLF consortium, particularly from the APASL and from the EASL also. And in that, we have published our data on ACLF. We have a task force also, that is the Indian Network on the Drug-Induced Liver Injury, and the Harshad Devar Bhavi is particularly active in this field, and he has completed the data, analyzed it, and read it for the publication also. We have the task force on the fatty liver disease, which is going to be the most common liver disease in coming years. At the moment, we have the 30% of our population who have have the fatty liver disease. And we have the position paper also, again published in Indian Journal of Clinical and Experimental Hepatology, which is the official journal of the INASL. We have the task for hepatic encephalopathy and acute liver failure. And this year, we have published 2 consensus statements in hepatitis B, and our president, Dr. Anil Arora, is very active. One is the treatment of the hepatitis B, and another in patients who are immunosuppressed. And this time we also made the consensus statement on the Wilson's disease, hepatocellular carcinoma, and many others like pregnancy and the liver disease. And we have also launched last year, but started now, ICON-D study that is related to the Indian real-life data on the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And this time we are also starting the task force in the nutrition in the liver disease. We have several consensus statements, guidance in the previous years also. And the most important thing is the ECHO program. You all know that the Punjab model, where the patient with the hepatitis C is being treated in a decentralized care, means the medical specialists from the 22 districts and 3 medical colleges were trained, and they are being in consultation with the PGI faculty through the ECHO program. That is a basically internet-based program by way, and we have recruited 50,000 patients so far treated under the Punjab model also, and the treatment response is more than 92%. So this is that ECHO that the INASL, on behalf of the INASL, that we are doing it. This is the official journal of the INASL, that is the Journal of the Clinical and Experimental Hepatology. And this is the 8th successful year of the publication. It is always on time. It is indexed also. I just want to show you the performance of this journal. When you come, you can see the citations are going like very much, and the CITE score is a 2.19. And when you compare with the Hepatology International and the Journal of the Gastroenterology, you will find that its performance has surpassed the Hepatology International. Can we have this one? How to do? In all aspects, whether it is a CITE score, SNP, or other parameters. In the past 1 or 2 years, the submission has increased significantly and rejection rate has crossed 60 to 70%. There is lots of the backlog, and there is a need to increase to 6 issues from the 4 issues per year. And this time, we are honored to have Professor Muhammad Sultan Khuru to receive the Lifetime Achievement Award. And we have the S.R. Naik Oration. Emeritus Professor Geoff Dushiko will deliver it, and N. Madan Gopalan Oration Award, Dr. Sareen will deliver it tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you indeed for the very warm words and for walking us through the report. And now to talk about INASL, may I invite the president himself, Mr. Anil Arora.
Good evening, everybody. I am extremely thankful for all of you who have been attending this inauguration ceremony of the 26th annual meeting of Indian National Association of Study of the Liver Disease. At the outset, I am extremely grateful to our chief guest, Dr. Balram Bhargav, our guest of honor, Mr. Vikas Sheel, and the dignitaries on the dais, Dr. Dhiman and Dr. Sunil. I think Dr. Ajay is missing. Ajay, would you mind coming up on the dais and get onto your seat? Please come up. Indian National Association for Study of the Liver Disease, the basic concept came in the minds of our own physicians. We had an Association of Physicians of India, a consortium which was formed way back as early as in 1955. Then in 1960, some of the so-called people who were interested in the field of hepatology started believing that the time they had been getting in the gastroenterology meet or in the API meet was not enough. So a breakaway group was formed which wanted to call it at Indian Society of Gastroenterology from the Association of Physicians of India. For the first time, this API body was formed. API body had resulted in formation of an ISG meeting in 1960. Then two leading hepatologists of yesteryears, Dr. S.K. Sama from All India Institute of Medical Sciences and Dr. T.V. Datta, who was the pioneer of gastroenterology in PGI Chandigarh, they thought that even within ISG, they were not getting enough attention to the field of hepatology, and they thought they were not getting enough time to present their own liver work, and liver was not given enough attention. So from 72 right up to 79, they would come and present their good data, their good work, and try to show to the people and the ISG in general that liver had to be a separate field altogether. So for the first time in 1979, ISG agreed to allot a session to the hepatologist group. That was for a total period of about 45 minutes. I think that is what was the genesis of formation, because this is what irked and frustrated the hepatologist. So for the first time, three important hepatologists from India, Dr. F.P. Anshia, R.L. Carlo, and H.G. Desai, decided to have a splitter group away from the ISG, and this study group was called Liver Study Group of India. So from 1979 till 1992, this nomination continued, and they had their own meeting, the Liver Study Group, till for the first time in 1992, and that is how we have the 26th day of INSL. Today, in 1992, we had this from Indian Association for Study of the Liver Disease, which subsequently was renamed as Indian National Association for Study of the Liver Disease. There have been major contribution, as has been very well delineated by our dynamic secretary, Professor Dhiman, that we have come a long way in establishing hepatology and the field of liver as a super speciality amongst the field of gastroenterology and hepatology. Major contributions have been, other than the education, research, and the passing of the knowledge to the masses in general. The two major advances have been that INSL group, led by our predecessors like Dr. Shiv Sareen, Dr. Acharya, Dr. Kar, Dr. Chavla, and Dr. Dikshit, we have been able to push the universal vaccination for hepatitis B across the UPI in India, and only as late as about 1 month back, with the efforts of our dynamic secretary, Dr. Dhiman, with the help of Professor Bhargav and Mr. Vikashil, we have been able to formalize a national policy for management of hepatitis C. That is a big contribution. Not only that, with passage of the time, with hepatology becoming as an established speciality, we have been able to integrate and present ourselves very well in the national and international forum. And tribute to that is that with passage of time, we are having a very good postgraduate program, and we are thankful to Professor Patrick Kamath, Dr. Ashwini Singhal, Dr. Arun, and others who have been regularly a part of this educative meet. And believe me, sir, most of the people are always looking forward to having good presentations from you in clinical hepatology. So with this growth in hepatology, we see that there has been a resurgence of interest in field of hepatology, and thanks to the dynamism shown by the present team, I think the same dynamism is also taken forward to by the team, which is going to be led by Dr. Rakesh Agarwal and Dr. Kaushal Madan in near future. With that, I welcome again all of you for being present in the late evening for the celebration of this 26th day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you indeed for your very warm words. Ladies and gentlemen, now the moment we all have been waiting for, in the truest essence of our traditions. Join me in placing our humble request to our honorable chief guest, the Secretary, Health, Research and DG ICMR, New Delhi, Professor Balram Bhargava, to mark the inauguration by lighting the oil-fed lamp. I request our guest of honor and other dignitaries to kindly join in the ceremony. Ladies and gentlemen, light, a symbol of enlightenment through wisdom and energy. Thank you. Thank you, dignitaries. What we believe. It's a tradition that is believed to usher in a spaciousness, good luck, and vigor, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, this marks the formal inauguration of the annual scientific meeting of INAZL, the 26th edition. Thank you very much. And now allow me the privilege of inviting our guest of honor, the Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, respected Sri Vikas Sheel, for his remarks.
Respected Secretary, Department of Health Research, Professor Balram Bhargavji, President of the Indian National Association for Study of the Liver, General Secretary Dr. Dhiman. Sir, will you pardon me? I'm very bad at remembering names. Distinguished participants in this annual meeting of the association. At the outset, I'd like to extend my thanks to the association for inviting me to be a part of this launch ceremony. As Dr. Dhiman was telling, we've recently launched the National Program for Control of Viral Hepatitis on the World Hepatitis Day on the 28th of July. And therefore, I was personally very keen to be among you, and there's a purpose behind my being here. So this program was long awaited, and I must thank Dr. Dhiman and his team in Punjab for showing the way in terms of demonstrating that with political will, with administrative will, and with people who are dedicated to the task, no task is no challenge is unsurmountable, howsoever difficult it might be. And it was amply demonstrated by the Punjab team under the leadership of Dr. Dhiman, where they demonstrated that treatment of viral hepatitis C has now become affordable, reasonable, possible. And taking a cue from that, the Government of India then decided to scale it up, and we've launched the National Viral Hepatitis Control Program recently, last Saturday. This program, since it's not only about treatment, we are also focusing on prevention. And therefore, apart from the clinical aspects of managing the disease burden or the patients, the program would also include the aspects of public health, which would include preventive measures, promotive measures, awareness creation, and of course, diagnosis and treatment. For hepatitis A and E, it will focus largely on awareness creation and about personal and community hygiene and importance of safe drinking water and safe food. For hepatitis B, the program targets to 2-3 crucial interventions. One is screening of pregnant women to find women who are hepatitis B carriers, and therefore to ensure that their children do get the 0 dose of hepatitis B vaccine, with the objective to cut transmission, reduce the disease burden over a period of time. We also intend to do active screening among the high-risk groups, and if we find a patient, we intend to treat the patient. And if somebody is not carrying the infection, for hepatitis B at least, we intend to vaccinate and protect the person from getting the infection. We also will promote in a big way safe injection practices. That would include use of RUP syringes, and also in terms of educating various high-risk groups associated with using injections. The program also targets to ensure that all health personnel, at least in public sector and preferably in private sector too, are vaccinated and protected against hepatitis B, so as to be able to deliver these services confidently and without fear. In terms of hepatitis C, we will have the rapid diagnostic kits at the peripheral level and the confirmatory tests at the district level, and then we will develop treatment capacities both at the district and the state level. And gradually we'll move towards the periphery and at least make sure that the first line diagnostics and drug dispensation is done at the periphery at the lowest level possible, closest to the people. The program has also built in its strategies and its approach ways to engage with all stakeholders, and especially given that we do have a very vibrant and knowledgeable and thriving private sector in the country, and also given the fact that people do access and perhaps prefer to access private sector for various services. Keeping that in mind, we've kept the provision in the program that the states who will implement the program will have the flexibility to associate with private sector to leverage the capacity both in diagnostics and in treatment. We will also partner with the private sector, especially for capacity building and training of all our doctors who are going to be involved in treatment, and all our hospital staff, our peripheral health worker who is supposed to do the first line diagnostics. So it will be a cascade of training, and we would seek help from various institutions and practitioners in private sector to help us to build these capacities, so as to make sure that we are able to deliver on the stated objective of the program, and that is that we would like to eliminate viral hepatitis C by the year 2030, which is the commitment, which is our global commitment also, as envisaged in the Sustainable Development Goals, and also substantially reduce the burden of viral hepatitis B and move towards its elimination over a period of time. I once again extend my sincere thanks to the association for giving me this opportunity to share with you the broad objectives and structure of the program. I also thank the association for giving us a slot tomorrow where my colleague Dr. Sandhya Kabra, who has led the team to actually draft the operational guidelines and the technical guidelines and the diagnostic guidelines, will share a presentation on the National Viral Hepatitis Control Program with you. We would welcome any suggestions, any feedback in terms of how we can do it better, or what changes may be required in our approach. I'm sure that with the help of all stakeholders, and I would be candid and honest with everybody out here. I mean, it'll not work only on our own, in the sense that even only the government sector and the public health professionals doing it will not succeed. We will need to take all the stakeholders aboard, and therefore I would request you to please feel free to interact with us, give us feedback. The guidelines are available on the Department of Health website, and therefore even if in a short session tomorrow, it may so happen that you just get an idea of what the program is, but later on you do come across an idea or a suggestion. So we would request you to please get in touch with us to help us to make the program better and help us to succeed in alleviating this major problem for our people. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you indeed for your very valued words. Ladies and gentlemen, may I now request our Honorable Chief Guest to release the conference abstract, which would be presented to our Honorable Chief Guest, the Secretary at the Health Research and DG ICMR, Professor Balram Bhargava. Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Chief Guest and the rest of our dignitaries. I now have the honor of requesting our Honorable Chief Guest to address the conversions.
Honorable dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, scientists, researchers, clinicians, friends. I'm in the midst of very learned people, very capable people who have achieved a lot. So I will not talk about the liver, I'll talk general. So, I mean, and to put things slightly in perspective for the general population. Now, whenever I ask anyone, what has India done well in the last 70 years of independence, and they say, well, India has done well in IT, and mobiles. Ask them further, what has India done well in? And as we speak, India has done very well in cricket. 86 for 6 is England in the second innings, and we've done well in Bollywood. I ask further, what else has India done well in? And, well, people say, some people struggle and say, well, we have done well in space and nuclear. Some smart people say that. Then I ask further, what else has India done well in? And no one talks about the green revolution. We have become self-sufficient in food grains, 60s, PL 480 program, everyone knows of our generation, the Colombo plan. We had to miss a meal. That is history, and we are exporting grains. No one talks about the white revolution. We have done phenomenally well in that. More importantly, what is under assault and is not talked about highly is health. We have done phenomenally well in health in India. I don't want to give figures. I can give some figures, but we've done phenomenally well. No one has to go out of this country for any treatment. In fact, the reverse is happening. India is number 2 in the world in medical tourism. We have done so well in pharma, and we just heard from the Secretary General about the generic drugs that have done so well. 50 to 60% of the drugs used in the United States of America are of Indian origin, the generic drugs. We don't highlight this. We just talk about IT and mobile. We need to highlight our health achievements, our pharma achievements, our green revolution, our other things which I just alluded to. So, talking of liver disease, and since this is a liver conference, I think the most, Dr. Dhiman has been my senior, and he's taught me, and I've been a cardiologist, and he's a liver specialist. So it brings me to one important point in a lighter vein is what is the seat of emotion? Is it the liver or is it the heart? If you look at the old Persian poetry, they will talk about jigar ka tukda. The moderner people will talk about dil ka tukda. So what is the seat of emotion still remains unanswered. Is it the liver? So it is a very important organ. I know that. Everyone knows that. And we are dealing with epidemics of hepatitis, alcoholic liver disease, cirrhosis liver, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And this society in this last 26 years has contributed immensely to the treatment of this disease, and also with the Ministry of Health, a lot has been done, and the national program has been launched for the hepatitis, and that is working well. And with the help of your commitment, I think it will be strengthened further and further. I mean, no one could have imagined of liver transplant. I mean, highly successful surgery which is being practiced today, phenomenally well, and I congratulate all of you in this room who have contributed to this field in this country immensely. We saw the annual report of the Secretary General, and he talked about the various guidelines that have been delivered and given by this society. I have a small request to make from the Department of Health Research, particularly on the eve of Ayushman Bharat, where the government is looking at measures and mechanisms, how health technology is going to be assessed, how it is going to be reimbursed, whether it be in the private sector or in the government sector. Obviously, the principle is that the private sector will have to reduce the cost, the government sector will have to improve the quality, and they have to converge at a point where it is going to be useful for everyone. So from that perspective, we are trying in the Department of Health Research, are starting to develop these, not these standard treatment guidelines, because they are available, whether it be European or the American or the Indian, and different societies, and people have too many guidelines. So we are developing for the Ministry of Health to be ultimately plugged into the Niti Aayog and the Ayushman Bharat program, standard treatment workflows, a chart or a pathway, maybe 1 or 2 pages for different diseases. And that is where we will need help from your society and your community to help us, at least for the liver diseases. That is my request to you. And I wish this conference a tremendous success and wish all of you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for your insightful thoughts and for your gracious presence. Ladies and gentlemen, every great work, every big accomplishment has been brought into manifestation through holding to the vision and sheer hard work. Tonight, we take pride in felicitating one such achiever with the Lifetime Achievement Award. The award is bestowed upon a senior hepatologist who has outstanding contribution in the field of liver diseases as a researcher, teacher, or leader. May I now invite Dr. Radha Kedhiman, the Secretary General INASO, for introduction of this year's Lifetime Achievement Award.
I think it is the day for me. I am really privileged to say something about the Muhammad Sultan Khuru. Professor Muhammad Sultan Khuru graduated from the Medical College, Srinagar, Kashmir in 1967. He completed his postgraduate degree, that is MD, in General Medicine from the Medical College, Srinagar in 1972. And the DM in Gastroenterology from the Postgraduate Institute of Medical Education and Research, where I am working now. During his training period, he published a seminal paper on 105 patients with Budd-Chiari syndrome, identified the distinct syndrome of the hepatic vein thrombosis following pregnancy, and published this work in the Journal of International Repute, that is the American Journal of the Medicine in 1980, when I was doing my undergraduation. I'm just linking myself to all these discoveries. He returned to the Medical College, Srinagar, Kashmir in June 1978, and yet another discovery. And that is, he was soon rewarded for his action as he discovered hepatitis E as a new disease entity and spent his next 40 years in exploring intriguing behavior of this entity, and this agent was identified as the hepatitis E virus. And that time, I was doing probably my first year of my post-graduation at Dr. Bhargav. Remember it. And whenever we used to read Sir Harrison textbook, we used to see how many Indians are there. Raj Goel has written the paper on the GERD. And there were the 3-4 lines that the waterborne non-A, non-B hepatitis B was discovered. And we come to know that the person was an Indian. I don't know at that time the Muhammad Sultan Khuru, but I'm really privileged that I'm talking about you here. It is heartening to learn that Professor Khuru spent money generated from his private practice to fund for the research project on the hepatitis C. The research projects on hepatitis C received no funding from any other source. That is commendable. Discovery of hepatitis E brought him national and international fame, recognition, innumerable awards, and stamped his position in the history of the medicine as discoverer. In 1982, Professor Khuru joined the chair in the Department of the Medicine and the Gastroenterology at the Sher-e-Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences, Srinagar, and held the position of the Dean Medical Faculty as well as the Director. In 1985, he discovered the disease, another entity of the hepatobiliary pancreatic ascariasis, and established it as a major health problem in the endemic area of the Kashmir. In 1990, he did what had never been done in the history of the medicine. He described percutaneous drainage of the hepatic hydatosis. At that time, what we used to tell that don't poke it, don't poke it. Otherwise, you have the severe reaction. But he established the technique of the PAIR, P-A-R-R, and established this procedure as the treatment of the choice in uncomplicated liver-hydrate disease. At Sher-e-Kashmir Institute of the Medical Sciences, he joined other teams in the country to recognize the syndrome of the portal biliopathy in patients with the portal hypertension, that is EHPVO. Professor Khuru built up a strong research team at SKIMS and did extensive epidemiological studies on the portal peptic ulcer, gallstones, esophageal and the gastric cancer, and established a state of the Jammu and Kashmir in the epidemiological map as shown for distinctive disease pattern. We have all read your papers, those were published at that time. The NEGM, that used to be really a great thing. In his capacity as a clinician and administrator, he immensely helped in the growth and the development of the Sher-e-Kashmir Institute of Medical Sciences, a shade of which is yet apparent. He showed a deep interest in healthcare delivery system and did studies on these to find solution to the problems of the health delivery system. In 1995, Professor Khuru joined as a head and consultant gastroenterologist and liver transplant physician at the prestigious King Faisal Hospital and Research Center, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. During 10 years, he spent as a consultant gastroenterologist and hepatologist, and he helped to set up the program of the liver transplantation in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Finally, his commitment to his soil brought him back to the Kashmir in January 2005, and on his return, he again established a tertiary care digestive disease center in the Srinagar. He received honorary fellowship of the Royal College of the Physician as well as the American College of the Physician. In 1995, American College of the Physician conferred the coveted title of the Master of the American College of the Physician to Professor Khuru. During his 35 years of the teaching career, Professor Khuru also guided 21 MD and the PhD projects and trained a huge group of the clinicians in the art of the medicine and the gastroenterology. With these words, may I request now Professor Ajay Duseja to escort Professor Khuru to the dais. May I now request our chief guest, Professor Balram Bhargav, to honor Professor Khuru. Others may also join.
Our hearty gratitude and congratulations to Professor Khuru. And as we extend our congratulations, I place my humble request to Professor Khuru to say a few words.
Thank you. Thank you, Indian Association of the Study of Liver Diseases. Thank you, Professor Anil Arora, Professor Diman, and the colleagues and the Indian Association for Study of Liver. Thank you, Professor Bhargava, sir, and Mr. Vikas Sheel for doing the honors. Today I'm honored. I'm honored to receive this award for my lifetime achievements. This journey of 4 decades did start with my extreme belief at what Professor Diman already mentioned at the PGI Chandigarh, that there was a hidden agenda behind viral hepatitis and pregnancy. And this got ingrained into myself when I left PGI in 1978. And then in around 1.5 to 2 years, I went to Pune at the Indian Association of Gastroenterologists and told them that here I am to tell you that there's a new disease which has not been known, and I called it epidemic non-A non-B hepatitis. That was in November of 1979. Everybody got surprised what this boy is saying. And that got evolved into what we now call as hepatitis E and hepatitis E virus, and has completed the alphabets of viral hepatitis. And in its control, what was said that water is the main source of transmission of hepatitis E, but it's more important disease now in the West than in India, and it's gone into the food chain. And also another important thing, that the vaccines available for already hepatitis E, except that's only available this time in China. So we'll see very soon that this hepatitis will be controlled by vaccination, which will actually take over all aspects of all genotypes of hepatitis E, which are multiple genotypes. And very important is that disease is prevalent all over in the animal kingdom. And I think tomorrow there's going to be a session on that, and it will be very rewarding. Apart from that, over the 4 decades, I've kept one small thing into my mind about biomedical research and research, that nature has kept hidden agendas and uncovered agendas into itself. And to uncover them, we need hard work, persistence, we need dedication, and we need to stand on one's feet among the skeptics and get the support of those who love you and who believe in you. Number 1, we need to spend days and days and without the families, in absence of your family, to really take the pain of those who suffer, and particularly the diseases which we see. The first epidemic which came in Kashmir, 57,000 people with viral hepatitis and 1,700 deaths in 6 weeks. That was the first epidemic. And similar epidemics have come up all over India, all over the world. And so you had to spend days and days together without your families to get the feel of and the suffering of the people who have these stories where the diseases are uncovered. And very important is you have to spend the nights with the pen and the paper to write what you feel is right and what you want to put forth. So this has been the concept of these 4 decades. And the story has been treacherous. The path has been very difficult. Path has had many, many falls, more falls than rises, has had many, many failures. But there have been small successes. And these small successes really are rewarding, because anything you uncover in nature cannot come without a price you have to pay. And you have to pay the price of these days and nights price of these feeling of the people, and price of the failures. Apart from that, I must say, very important is that you never walk alone. It cannot be done alone. And there have been hundreds and hundreds of my colleagues, some of them may be in this hall, some are all over the world, who have walked along with me. And today, I should say, thank you. Thank you for joining me. And thank you for walking along with me to complete this journey. For my students, I always kept one principle with me, that I have never taught a student what I did not believe in, number one, and I never taught a student what I could not practice myself. If I wanted to come at 8 o'clock, and if I could come at 8 o'clock, then I would tell my students, come at 8 o'clock. Or if I was there at midnight for an emergency, and if I could myself come, then I would tell my student to be there at midnight. So I never practiced anything what I could not do and what I did not believe. And lastly, for my patients, I have a tremendous respect because I have a feeling that I am on his seat, or when I would be on his seat, how would I would feel. And that feeling of the patient is what really gives you a trust from the patients. And I use that trust to really treat and relief of suffering of those people. And thank you very much for recognizing these 4 decades I've spent, and most of the people, I've spent them along with you, many of the senior colleagues who are in this society and who are in the Gastroenterology Society of India, and also in the international community. And I'm grateful and honored. Thank you. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you indeed. We feel humbled. And ladies and gentlemen, may I invite Dr. Sunil Taneja, the organizing secretary, for extending the vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Balram Bhargava, Secretary Health Research and Director General, ICMR New Delhi, our distinguished chief guest for the occasion. Mr. Vikash Sheel, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, our distinguished guest of honor. Our esteemed international and national faculty, distinguished delegates and invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, this is the 3rd consecutive year that we are organizing the annual scientific meeting of the Indian National Association for the Study of Liver. And it's a proud privilege for me to propose the vote of thanks for this 26th annual conference. At the outset, I would like to express my profound gratitude to Professor Balram Bhargav for having taken time off his many responsibilities to join us here today and to share this occasion with us. And in fact, indeed, he's inaugurated a conference this year. Dear sir, your speech has laid due emphasis on the importance of the role of healthcare in society and the sector which we have to dwell and work on. I would like to express a sense of obligation to Mr. Vikash Sheel for taking out time from his busy schedule and for the support provided to organize this event. We convey our sincere thanks to Professor Anil Arora, President, Indian National Association for the Study of Liver, for his gracious presence today and for his constant and meticulous guidance which enabled us to host this conference today. We also thank the European Association for the Study of Liver for endorsing our annual scientific meeting and extending their support and participation in this event. I take this opportunity to extend our gratitude to the distinguished panel of speakers from India as well as overseas, our other national faculty, delegates, both national and international, and postgraduate students for having traveled from near and far to participate and contribute to this academic feast. We convey our sincere thanks to all the pharmaceutical companies for providing us monetary support to organize this conference. I thank all our prime sponsors, including Zydus Healthcare, Mylan, Cipla, Sun Pharma, and Dr. Reddy Pharmaceuticals for the support. I also thank all the other pharmaceutical companies, including Natco, Abbott, Gourmel Brothers, Torrent Pharmaceuticals, Hetero, M-Cure, Wayne Medicare, Olympus, Fibroscan, and Cryzon Pharmaceuticals for this support. Last but not the least, I thank all the members of the organizing team, Shifali Singh and a team from Maisha, our travel and hospitality partners, Mr. Ravi Grover and his audiovisual team, Mrs. Suruchi and a team from Hotel Punblen, and all my colleagues who have been involved in this particular exercise for the several months and have worked tirelessly in organizing this conference. Without their cooperation and full support, this conference would not have been possible. Thank you once again, and we look forward to an extremely productive meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. And as we mark the close of the inauguration ceremony, may I humbly request our honorable chief guest, the guest of honor, dignitaries up on stage, and all of you to kindly rise for the national anthem of India.
पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तब शुभ नामे जागे तब शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तब जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you indeed. And this marks the close of the inauguration ceremony of the 26th Scientific Meeting of INAZL 2018. As I announce the departure of our honorable chief guest and the guest of honor, the dignitaries from INAZL would be escorting them downstairs for a coffee break, and to the rest of our guests and participants, dinner will be served at 8 o'clock at the adjoining hall, at this very hall, in fact. So would like to request you all to join us for dinner and a musical night, of course, which would also be marking the inauguration of this meeting herein. I would like to see you then. Have an enjoyable evening. Thank you.